Hi, thank you for joining us for Mom Talk. Today we're going to be discussing child safety. So I personally have been criticized for being an overprotective parent.
You are, jeez. I'm just kidding.
But I do not, like before I was a mom, like I was so carefree with everything. You know, thinking back on some of the things that I did, I was like, wow, I'm surprised nobody ever hurt me or something. Because you think back to the things you did before you had kids, and it's like, oh, they better not do this. But what is something that, like, you do to maintain child safety in your home?
In my house?
Mhm.
Well, my kids are older for the
Yeah.
most part, so
They can still get hurt.
well, they probably still could, but I am really cautious. I'll tell Kendall, don't sit up, your head's gonna go into the fan. I tell them stuff like
What?
that. I tell like a bunk bed. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I was like,
How old is he?
I was just kidding. No, but I do tell her that. The older ones, it's really, I say it's kind of simple because you don't have to worry about them sticking something in the plug or something like that. It's more of stranger danger, good touch, bad touch. Mom, I want to go to the mall by myself, and you're like, okay, I'm just going to follow her. She's not going to know that I'm
You've
there.
done that? Cool.
One time.
Yeah.
She's probably not watching this.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time she went, and it was really scary. But from little, I'm like you came to my house one time and you're like freaking out. You're like, you don't have any of those plastic things in any of your plugs,
Yeah.
And I remember that, and I remember thinking, who cares? And you're thinking that because with your kids,
I have
you're
a
younger.
2-year-old.
Yeah, and Oakley's,
Four.
he's well at that time he was
3.
I guess a year younger, but telling you as they get older you're a little carefree, a little more carefree.
Yeah.
My biggest thing now is more of stranger danger and good touch, bad touch, and being careful, and you can't usually if something happens to a child, it's a relative.
Mhm.
So you really can't trust a lot, but I think if you sit in fear constantly and instill the kids with fear, then they're going to grow up, and think, I can't get out of this bubble, and
Mhm.
it's really kind of a hard thing to manage.
Yeah.
What am I okay with them doing, and what am I?
You have to find a balance between teaching them what's safety and
Yeah.
scaring
You gotta start
them.
young.
Exactly.
Mhm. So what are some things that y'all do?
For me, my whole house is like,
Bumper proof.
yeah, they can't get into it. Like all my doorknobs are like safety. The doorknobs to get out, I have a safety lock.
She has that. I can't stand
Yeah.
that thing. I'm like,
It's childproof. She can't figure it out. I'm like,
And all we just had a house, so all the plugs are all like tamper resistant. It's a beautiful thing.
yeah. I understand you.
the same thing, baby 1, baby 2. Yeah, I got this. Baby 4, baby 5. Like,
Well, see,
that's gonna hurt when you put that fork in the plug.
they'll only do it once. See, I was actually driving around like a few weeks, like maybe a month ago. I don't know if you saw my post, but there was a toddler
Yeah.
walking on the street with just the diaper on, no shoes, no shirt, no shorts, nothing. In the middle of the street, and I was just like, okay, like I was at the very end of the street, and I was like, okay, well, there's got to be an adult somewhere, so I was slowing down. There got to be somewhere, anywhere, nobody. So I like stopped, and he's just standing there staring at the truck, walking up to it. I'm like, could have run him over if I was like on the phone, which I never really am when I'm driving, but somebody else could have done that or
Right.
taken him. So I called the police, and I honked because he's like,
Get out the way!
One of the thing is, like, I didn't want to pick him up and have somebody like say I'm kidnapping, and I'm like, oh man, I can't pick him up. So I'm on the phone with the dispatcher, and I honk the horn. He gets scared and goes to the sidewalk, and I guess the horn made the mom realize, where's my kid? So she came out running, and she takes it back, thank you, and she's running off, and I'm just like,
You're
okay.
welcome.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to that, you see, toddlers are so quick.
Anytime.
Just a split of the second,
Yeah.
you
That's all
realize
they
of
need,
them and
yeah.
they're gone.
What she
I
told me.
Then
I'm no way, dude. My kid's not gonna get out the
No.
door and then be gone that long. I would definitely notice.
Yeah.
I really think I would.
See, and I
I
have.
think I would notice too. But first of all, she can't open the front door or the back door yet.
Yeah.
But I don't know. everybody's house is different, and
Right.
Well, see, she actually told me, oh, he's learned how to open the door, and I'm like, and you've done what to fix the problem? like we installed an alarm, which I really recommend, and it tells us, I mean, it's the same company you have, Vivint, and it tells us front door open, back door open, window open. I'm like, I know if they're gonna get out. And we have like the deadbolt, and we have a top lock, you know, yeah. So I mean, I feel very, like, they never used to get out. I have childproof before they, like when they were trying to reach for the knob, I was like, okay, I gotta do something now. That's why I have that doorknob that you hate.
Everybody hates it. But I love it.
I know, they can't open it. She knows how to unlock the door, but she can't
I
open
don't
it.
have the
You have
cabinet
to
thing.
push those things. Now,
I
I tell
have
you
it.
though, with like baby one, baby two, really though, it was like the bumpers on the sides of the coffee tables was and you know, the
I
bumpers
didn't
on
get
the fireplace
Yeah.
was, yeah, it was cool. And so I put the bumpers on the fireplace and,
They're not
you
cheap.
know, I was really,
Yeah.
really
Cautious.
cautious. I had all the retarded things in the
That's what I have on my
cabinets that you
cabinet.
couldn't open. I
Yeah.
figured-
Those drive me insane.
I have those,
I
yeah.
hate those, but then after that, you know, it's like, they'll be okay.
Well, I mean, they also get older, so you probably like,
Well, but I mean, you have one after the next, and I'm not kidding, it really does. It really does change. You get so much more lax.
yeah.
I don't know why, but you will.
I mean,
Like,
as long as you don't have the
seven-
chemicals down low, you know, they're up and put away.
I think
They can get into the pots, they can get into the pans, they play with them, you know, they can take, my daughter would take the cans out and line them up. That was one of her activities she liked to do, was take the stuff out of the cabinet, line it up, and then she'd put them back, and then she'd go to the next cabinet and line them out. That was just what she
Yeah.
liked to do. And I've never thought, okay, put, you know, locks on this so she can't do that. You know, of course, I didn't have the poisons or the bug
Yeah.
sprays down low, never had any chemicals down low, they're always up high and put away. So, you know, that wasn't a concern for me.
when my
That's
husband
what
and
we're
I moved
changing.
when we moved in this house where we live now, they had a toddler, the people that sold the house. It was about, she was like probably two and a half. So the house was about half childproof. And at the time, I wasn't even thinking that I'm gonna have a child, which it didn't take many months after, but anyway. And everything was so annoying. Every time I was going to the kitchen cabinets trying to open, because I would forget those locks there and there, and just like, oh, I was always here. But I left them on, and by the time that my daughter came, I was like, oh, now I'm used to those. And then I started adding, because I have so many plugs in the house, except when I need one, I don't have where I need it.
Yeah.
And so I started putting all these things in the plugs, and that was another issue that I have every time trying to, I want to vacuum, I
When you
have
want
to
to take it out, you go like,
unplug it, and then I'll forget what I put in, and then I have to remember what I put in and go look for it, and
Yeah.
all the things. But now I got used to it, and even my daughter got used to the point that if she sees one around the house, she brings it to me, and she points like, Mama.
Aw.
And then with, like Becca said, with the corner of the coffee table and that, I even went to the windows where they have that little thing inside the wood. I went, it was like, oh, she's walking around the windows, so I have to put childproof around the window corners and that. And then I started adding locks to the bathroom doors. And then my husband got this, we have the round door knobs for the front door and back door. So we got the round locks, and he put them on. And I tried to get outside, and I got so mad. I was
I
like,
feel
take them
you.
off right this second, because she can't reach yet to that. So no way I'm gonna have those on.
but again, you don't want to get so overprotective that everything is covered in something protective, because they will, they're going to hurt themselves on things, and that's just part of life and growing. You can put them on the sides, but my kids would get under and bonk their heads underneath
Yeah.
the table.
Yeah.
You know, and then whack it right there, and then they come and they get kissed, and it's all better, and they move on, you know, because you can't baby-proof every single
Well, I was
part of
joking
your
with
life. But I do recommend, what we did is, any bookcases or dressers, we did screw them into the walls.
Yeah.
That way they don't fall forward, because the kids, if they do pull up, that way they can't pull dressers or bookcases. That's
Oh,
something good to do, is screw them into the wall, into a
Yeah.
stud.
With
That
a
way they
friend
can't
of
blow up
mine, we were
themselves.
talking about childproof, and she had a daughter, she was a baby at the time while I was pregnant, and I was like, okay, well, what are we gonna do for childproof? And it's like, well, we're gonna buy a football helmet, put it on their head. Their face is safe, their head is safe, the rest can be fixed easier.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna,
But they do, like you were saying, they do get into things.
Yeah.
Because, like, neither of my girls like sleeping in the crib, but we tried so hard to keep them in their room and sleeping in the crib. Alexis, before she was walking, before she turned a year old, she's climbing out of the crib and bunk. And it is at the lowest possible setting.
Yep.
And I'm like,
That's just
how did
what
she
they
get
do.
out, little monkey?
Yep.
So we ended up sticking her in a toddler bed before
Sometimes it's
she was
easier.
even the appropriate age for it because it was safer. I mean, it was lower
Lower.
than. It's just like, how did you get out of that bed? You know?
I remember one time with the car seat thinking car seat safety. I'm so paranoid with car seats.
Oh, yeah.
That's just one of the things. You might can stick your finger in the plug, but you're not gonna have a bad car seat.
No.
Yeah.
I see so often parents, and you know who you are, that are not buckling up.
It drives me nuts.
Oh my
Because she was in the front looking out
Or
the window.
out the back window.
I can't.
I call it in. I don't even care who you
What
are.
I
call
hate
it
is those moms that are like, God dang it, he won't stay down in his car seat. He's over here like standing up in the middle wall.
And he just-
Strap him in.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
what it defeats the purpose of the whole car
Yeah,
seat.
I just think like when you add safety like first, it like eliminates a lot of stress.
And don't you love
parents,
it?
Yeah, parents don't realize they think stress is caused by the safety. It's like no, just
No.
deal with the safety first, and then
Mhm.
stress-free life. Like you know what I mean?
With my daughter, when she throws this tantrum that she doesn't want to get in the car seat
do it
for
anyway.
any reason, it's not very often she does them, but when she does, like okay, we just get out the car and we're gonna sit around and we're gonna calm down first, and then we're
Yeah.
gonna try again until she's gonna be okay. Sometimes it works with a bribe. Here, I can give you this toy.
Yeah.
You're gonna sit over there, or we can go. I don't know where if you
Yeah. Here's a book.
sit in, and we can go if you're not
Ooh.
strapped in. Sometimes it works.
Well, and having the car seat isn't the whole, it isn't the whole deal here. You have to have
The
the
proper
right car
one.
seat for your child at their age and their height, and you have to have it buckled in correctly.
Yes.
And I remember an aunt of mine who I got in her car, and she had a car seat, and I was like, oh my, how old is that car seat? And I might have talked about this before, because it still just shocks me. And she's like, oh, I don't know, I got it when my kids were young. And I was like, that is outdated. And car seats do expire.
Yeah, they
You
do.
do have to look. You know, it was no 5-point harness. It was just one thing you shoved in the bottom. And I thought, that car seat is very, very
Dangerous.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you see somebody carrying their baby and they're in those little infant carriers and their feet are like this far off the
Oh, that drives
bottom,
me nuts.
and their
Yeah.
head's falling off the top. And
That's
I'm
not
thinking,
gonna
I need
prevent
a bigger
it.
car seat.
Yeah.
It's time to move on.
If
But they want to
You don't
keep
know.
them as an infant.
And they
like,
need to face back, face rear longer than a lot of
2
parents
years.
do. They try to turn to the front. So.
once they hit 2
you
years,
don't know where to start with the car seat, the Driscoll Children's Hospital, they have the Injury Prevention Center where you
Yeah.
can log into their site and they have
Locally.
a phone number and they do a car seat check for free. You make an appointment and they teach you how to use it properly. They can tell you all the requirements for like height and weight and that, and they install it for you for free also. So it's easy
Yeah.
to do that. If,
yeah, we actually went to them and told them, show us how to do this. Because, I mean, we had the book and we followed it, but we wanted to make sure, and that was for both girls, we just did it for both. So we had them properly install both the car seats, and we actually had done it wrong. It's amazing. It's just, I mean, it's easy to not push it all the way back, or like once you're forward facing, you're supposed to not have it reclined. And if you forget to unrecline it, then that's also a safety issue. But
and we learned with the car seat that we have for our daughter, we installed it like probably a month before she was born. And then I found this information about the Injury Prevention Center, and I went over there, and they were telling me how to wrap one of the receiving blankets and put it underneath to be at the proper inclination.
You know what else is really good
which
for
I
that?
had no idea about.
Not using the receiving, we didn't use a receiving blanket, but we used those round styrofoam things that you float in the water with.
The noodles.
Yeah, we cut the noodle and we put it under there so that it put it at the
And that was
right
born
level.
end of August, and we looked all over the store
Couldn't
for
find
those,
one.
and we couldn't find them anymore. So like by the time they would find them, of course, they're back in the store in the spring. It's like, oh, now we can find
Yeah.
them.
Do you
But when
know-
I really find out about it, it's like,
one thing they told me, and you probably don't think about this. I didn't. We have so much junk in our truck, like just toys and books and just like everything. And she's like, you realize if you roll over, all these things are gonna hit y'all in the head or something. And I'm like, you don't think about that.
Right.
You don't. I mean, we have so much stuff, and she's like, everything that is loose in your vehicle is a safety hazard. And I just hadn't thought of it.
And the first aid kit that I have right now, and it's moving from one side to the
You
other.
need to
of the
tape it
truck.
down with duct tape.
Every time I push the brakes, I hear the first aid kit moving. It's a big box.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's something good to think about.
I don't think you can spend enough money on a car seat. Like, there's not enough, but I don't think there's.
I did.
I think we bought the best car seat we can get, and and for safety, and I hate when I hear people say, I'm a very good driver. Well, everybody
I
else
may not
isn't.
be.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm rolling next to you.
See, that's what
Yeah.
it just drives me nuts when people say, oh, I'm a very good driver.
No. What I hear so much is, he won't stay buckled in. He gets himself
Yeah.
out. You control that. You
Yeah.
can control that. And if you can't control that, you have much bigger problems on your hands.
Yeah.
Because that is a priority.
Yeah.
Don't talk, well, he unbuckles himself. Okay, take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You just don't let that happen.
I just went through that stage. It was like a good, 2 months of like, we don't go out that often, so you would take off the top. I made it a point, no matter where I'm at, on the freeway, I'm gonna get off, pull to the side, let them know, hey, we don't take this off, Correct them if you don't correct them every time, they're gonna think like, oh, this is a joke.
Right.
Some parents, they let them take it off, they don't, stay down, they don't stop, like, you gotta follow through.
Or you hear them
Yeah.
frustrated, oh, forget it, I'm just gonna
Also,
keep
I
driving.
report them with the
No, not forget it.
with the car seat when you put your child. I know it's not a big issue over here with winter clothes, but
You have to
Hard to
adjust it.
buckle in.
Yeah.
don't put like a jacket or anything because they're not gonna put the seatbelt in proper position. So it's better than just put the jacket on the side and then when you get
Take it
out,
off.
add the jacket because they're not gonna freeze in 2 seconds while you do that. So
Yeah.
and they adjust the harness
Straps,
in
yeah.
front to be at the proper level, not at the tummy. Sometimes you see the babies, it's like, okay, I really want to go over there and just lift it up for them.
I know that thing that buckles here
Or too
way down
loose,
here.
or I don't.
Well,
It might be uncomfortable for the babies when they're over there like that, strapped in, but it's for their safety.
Yeah.
This weekend, my aunt, I went to a party, and sometimes they want to go and help you get the kids out. So she couldn't unbuckle the top of my son. He's 2, he has a bigger seat, and he's facing forward.
Yeah.
Why the heck do y'all put this thing on? You can't even get it off.
That's the idea.
It's
I didn't
important.
say anything. My fiance was like, well, my kids are too precious,
Yeah.
but still it made me think like,
I don't remember ever having a car seat when I was little.
Most
Ever.
of us didn't,
I
look back
remember
at the things
laying
we
in
were allowed
the
to
Suburban
do.
on the floor.
We could crawl all over the
I know.
place,
Yeah.
lay the seats down for long road
I
trips.
don't know how we survived.
We
But then
did
I thought like, oh my god, I had my head
But
like
see-
close to the tire, because I'm laying down where
Yeah. But I mean, if you think about it, back then the speed limit's probably a lot less than it is now.
Yeah.
And
Less cars on the road.
less
than
cars
there
on the
are now.
road, and things just were different back then. So I hate when
And
parents
you could
say,
walk everywhere too.
yeah,
You didn't have that safety issue that somebody's, if you weren't doing something right, that person would call your parents and say,
yeah,
your kid's not
I'm
behaving.
calling your mom.
Calling your mom,
yeah,
And that was scary back then.
Right, yeah.
yeah.
Now it's not a matter of, worrying about, okay, they're gonna take my kids type
Yeah,
of,
that's
those scary situations.
It's so important to have that car seat, have it put in right, and if you have someone babysit, make sure they know how they're supposed to buckle them in, where the car seat's supposed to sit. I think the safest place to put a car seat is the middle of the back seat. And that child, it's such a tragic story. He died being in the truck for 5 hours by himself. But I remember seeing the footage, and the car seat was behind the driver's side, and I was like, I can see, I have 2 girls in there, one's behind me, one's next to me. I can see Alexa's way better in my truck than I can Desiree. It would be easier for me to forget having somebody just behind me than right in the middle. And I think like something that I do is I put my purse in the back seat. Whatever I'm gonna take with me to the grocery store, I put it in the back seat.
That way you have to go back there.
I have to go back there no matter what. And I was so paranoid when I had my first one because I was like, I don't want to forget, like, you know, I have ADHD really bad.
Me too.
So I have over anxiety of please don't forget, please don't forget, please don't forget. So I would put my purse in the back, whatever I could, just to get me to remember, you know, like,
This
You have a child.
injury prevention center they give as a gift when you go there. They give you a gift. It's a little teddy bear and it has a yellow shirt on. And they say when you have your child in, you put it in the front seat, and when you don't have your child in the car, you put it in the back seat, in the car seat, the baby's car seat. And it's cute because on the teddy bear T-shirt says, "Dear Mom and Dad, please do not forget me in the car." So it's so cute.
That's awesome. That's a good idea. Put the teddy bear in the
At first you have to get used to. So
Right.
maybe
Yeah, I think,
before a month before you have the baby, start practicing.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's what you should do. Is like part of being safe is like understanding what kind of person and what kind of parent you are, and then working against yourself. You know. Oh, I usually do this. I'm not put a sign on my steering wheel. Hey, do not forget your kid. You know.
Yeah.
That
Something
doesn't
A
make
picture.
No,
whatever works
that-
for you.
That doesn't make you a bad parent. It just makes you like, okay, well, you gotta be safe. You know.
Mhm.
It is,
I read
You're being a
somewhere-
proactive parent.
yeah, you gotta
I
work
read somewhere
against
on the
it. You
news
know.
about another incident that his parent, he wasn't used to take his child to daycare or anywhere, so because he was going to work, and that day he had to do it, and forgot to put the child in the car seat, and he went straight to work out of habit, driving straight to work, and he parked the car and he went in his office, did these things, and later he found out that the child died in the car. And
Yeah.
so for parents who are not used to have the children like we are
Right.
all the time in the car with us, then maybe a little reminder to take along with, or something that would be safe.
We can't rush when you have your kids with you. You just can't. You have to think about it. But another thing that I wanted to talk about, stranger danger. Desiree just had her 4-year checkup, and they said, does she know her full name? Does she know what mommy and daddy's real name is? Does she know where she lives, like her actual physical address? I was like, no. You know, we never, like, she knows her name, and she said, well, you'd be surprised when if a kid gets lost, they're gonna say, okay, who's your mommy and daddy?
Mom.
Mommy, daddy. If they don't know your full name, how are they gonna find, you know, their parents? And if you don't teach your kids their address, how do they know where they live? So we're teaching her, we have a map, and we're teaching her that we're in Corpus Christi. You know, we're teaching her the actual address, which our house has funny numbers. She's like, what? But it's important to teach kids that too. And like, I want to go to a class or something that'll teach me how to talk to her about stranger danger, or like, what's something that I'm assuming you have older kids, you talk to them about it. What have y'all done?
Well, sometimes the school will put on a course also, and they'll
Okay.
ask you if you want the child to go through it or not, and you can sign the waiver or not. But I always like to preview anything that they're going to be teaching the kids.
You can do that?
You
Yeah, I
can.
wanted to ask, do
Oh,
you
I
have
didn't know
access
that.
to the information
Yes.
that they're gonna give them?
You parents get access to the information before the kids can see it. That way, you know, you make sure.
Do you have to ask for it, or?
You have to ask for it.
Okay.
But know that you do have that right to check with it
Awesome.
first. But you know, we'll talk about, okay, what would you do? Okay, we're here at the playground, and I've had to take brother to the bathroom, and someone comes up to you, you know, and he says he can't find his puppy dog and he needs your help. I said,
That's
first of all,
yeah.
no adult is ever going to come to you and ask you to go help them find their dog or their other kid, whatever. That's your big warning right there. You know, so going through different scenarios helps them to think. Also teaching them how to use the phone so that they can call in case of emergency. Okay, let's say mommy is trying to plug in something and I fall down on the floor and you're talking to me and I'm not looking at you, I'm not responding. What do you do? She's like, I don't know, mommy. This is what you do. You go get the phone. You know, first if daddy's around, go get him. If he's not,
Yeah.
this is how you use the phone, because some of our cell phones now, you know,
I know.
So
Slide in, put the
Right.
code in. Yeah.
show them how to call,
Yeah,
say,
most
again,
tutors can use it now.
right,
It's crazy.
this is my name, my mommy's fall down, she's not looking at me, I don't know what to do, you know, be able to give our
Yeah.
address and our phone number, you know, and then they're gonna keep you on the phone, you know, just kind of
Yeah.
go through what's actually gonna happen. That way
Yeah.
when something does
They're
happen,
ready.
they're ready. Same thing with fire drills. They do it at school, it's gonna do it at home.
That's what she suggested. We need
Exactly.
to have a fire plan.
Have a fire
And do
plan.
it.
if, you know, the fire's over here, you use the back door. If the fire's over this way, you go that door. You stay low. And then, okay, you know, and so Daddy will set off the alarms, you know, so that we can practice. It's very loud. We let them know it's going to be loud in advance. Okay, we all go out here. You don't take anything with you. You don't grab your puppy dog. If brother's next to you, you grab his hand and you go out too.
Yeah.
If Mommy and Daddy's not with you, you don't go and look for us.
Yeah.
Just get out of the house. Go to our waiting spot. You
Get
know,
us
so
to
have a
spots.
waiting spot.
Like
Me
scary.
too.
Yeah.
It feels scary,
Yeah.
but it's so much more scary if they don't know what to do.
That's
They
true.
just sit there.
And you've actually had
What
an
age?
You've dealt
experience
with
with a
several
family
fires.
fire.
Yeah, our house fire was in the middle of the night, and the back of the house was on fire before we even knew, because we were all in the front of the house, and the alarms went off because we did have an alarm system, a monitored alarm system, and the sound went off, and we never heard that sound before because it never happened before, you know, but we knew it sounded different, and my son knew what to do, and he took Oakley, and they went straight out the front door to the tree. My girls were upstairs. It was really smoky, and I was crawling up the stairs to get to them, and they weren't sleeping in their beds because it was a weekend, so they could move wherever, and that's something you need to remember, where they were sleeping is a good idea, right? But they knew where to go out to, which is something that they talked about a lot in school. But by the time the smoke came, my one daughter she was just sleeping on the floor.
I remember you saying you were feeling around, you couldn't find her.
Couldn't find her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh,
then
that's
I
gonna be scary.
physically drug her down the steps to get her out, and
She was passed out?
I don't know if she
The
was
smoke will do
asleep
that.
or
They'll
the
pass out and then they can't wake up.
Or they're already asleep, they'll just sleep through it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't think, oh, I'm gonna go get my purse. Am I going to? That's not what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Your thought is the kid.
Family.
But for them to hear the noise, that's something that I changed now.
Mhm.
They need to know what that noise was when it went off.
They need to know that was fire, get out.
That's right. We were
Yeah.
like, is somebody breaking in? Go get your gun.
Sorry, not funny, but
I
Well, and your neighbor was saying, don't shoot me, your house
That's
is on fire.
right, yeah, and my phone's ringing because they're calling me, telling me it's on fire, and I'm avoiding the phone because I'm, you know, sneaking, thinking somebody's gonna get in.
Well, your husband's a cop, so you're already on that mindset.
And you know, talking about safety, something that I really was wanting to point out was, don't tell your kids anything about the cops gonna come get you if you're bad.
Oh,
that's
I
so
know, that's
bad.
bad.
Cops are good.
My husband hates that, and every time a parent, you know, we're walking somewhere and he's in uniform, and they'll turn and say, oh, if you're not good, he's gonna come get you. And Josh, every single time he would turn around and say something along the lines of, I'm not gonna get you, I'm gonna take your parents if they're not good. You know,
Good.
I flip around.
That's awesome. Go, Josh.
Because you want them to come to the fire,
Exactly.
to come to the police.
No, those are
officer.
safety people.
That's
Yeah,
right.
because
Yeah.
it's exactly because in the fire they could be afraid. Hey, the police, but they're running.
But I'm not
away.
gonna go to them.
That's
Yeah.
right. You're
Yeah.
gonna take me to jail.
Right.
I can't stand
Maybe
it.
a good idea is to take the child to visit the fire station or the police
Yeah.
station to get.
I want to
used
organize
to-
that for our playdate group because I think it's important.
That would be a nice idea for.
Yeah, I've taken my kids, and the firefighters have been real nice to give them a tour of the whole place, and, you know, let them get in the truck and show them what they do and
So do
everything.
you just show up, or do you
Uh-huh.
just like make an appointment?
No,
I'm sure
I
they would
show
probably
them.
appreciate a phone call.
Right. But-
We're out on the scene
But
right
one
now.
other thing is, you know, donating
Yeah.
items to them, because when they do go to rescue the kids, the kids are scared. Teddy bears and blankets.
Oh, I
So
didn't
just
know that.
our extras that we had, we take them and go donate.
Yeah.
That way, because whenever they go pick up kids that have been in a fire or in a car wreck, they like to give them something the child can hold. So
I
you do
had
have
no
stuff.
idea of that. That's
The fire department
Yeah,
and police
things like that.
officers,
That's
but especially the
awesome.
fire department loves to take those because they'll carry them in the ambulance as well as the fire truck. That way they can give them to the kids. That way they have something that helps them not be so scared at such a traumatic event. And to let them know, we're here for you. We're good
Yeah.
guys.